In this frame, 5 seconds before he speaks, Christopher Watts already told the police everything. On August 13th, 2018, Christopher Watts reported his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 daughters Bella and Celeste missing. For 48 hours, America watched him plead for their return on national television, but his body language told a different story. In this video, we're breaking down the exact non-verbal cues that exposed him before the FBI ever walked into the room.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann. S-H-A-N-A-N-N. Bella and Celeste. C-E-L-E-S-T-E. Bella's 4, Celeste is 3.
And so, what time did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, what's going on? Like, because after I called her and texted her once, it was like, maybe she was just busy, like she had just gotten back, like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like, it registered, like, all right, this isn't right.
I think she just took off.
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know, but if somebody has her and they're not safe, like, I want them back now. Like, that's what's in my head. Like, if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like, if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
Let's set the scene. It's Tuesday morning, August 14th, 2018. The Colorado sun is rising over Frederick, a quiet suburb north of Denver where people don't lock their doors and everyone knows their neighbor. Watts is standing on his front porch, wearing a simple black t-shirt and jeans, telling reporters how much he misses his wife. He says all the right words. He uses her name. He mentions the girls by name. He looks into the camera, but then something shifts. Listen carefully. He says, "I just want them back." Past tense, not bring them home, not I need her here. I want them back, as if he already knows they aren't coming back on their own. But the words are only half the story. Watch his hands. They're buried deep in his front pockets, shoulders slightly hunched, weight shifted back, away from the cameras, away from the world. In body language analysis, this is called self-soothing. When the human brain knows it's lying, the body tries to comfort itself. Hands go to pockets, arms cross, people touch their own necks, their own faces, their own arms. It's unconscious, it's automatic, and it's nearly impossible to control for more than a few seconds at a time. Now compare this to genuine panic. A real grieving father, standing in front of cameras, reaches outward. He points, he gestures, he uses open palms to show the world he has nothing to hide. His body language says, "Help me, see me, believe me." Watts did the opposite. He reached inward. He made himself smaller. He collapsed his posture into a protective shell, as if the air itself had become dangerous. That one detail, hands in pockets, weight back, eyes too calm, breathing too controlled, made investigators mark him as person of interest before the first DNA test came back, before the dogs searched the house, before anyone knew about the oil tanks, before the FBI even knocked on his door. Now the interrogation. And this is where the story gets fascinating from a psychological perspective. The FBI and CBI knew something most people don't. You don't catch a narcissist with evidence alone, you catch him with ego. You see, Christopher Watts wasn't a criminal mastermind, he was a man who genuinely believed he was smarter than everyone in the room. So instead of confronting him immediately, instead of saying, "We know you did it," they offered him something far more dangerous than handcuffs. They offered him an out, They suggested quietly and carefully that maybe Shanann had hurt the children after he asked for separation. Maybe she snapped. Maybe it was postpartum rage. Maybe she was overwhelmed. Maybe he came home and found them already gone. And in his panic, he tried to protect her memory. And Watts? He took the bait. Because narcissists don't think like the rest of us. When you offer them a version of events where they are still the victim, still the good guy, still the sympathetic husband who just wanted to save his wife's reputation, they will grab it with both hands. This technique is called minimization. In interrogation psychology, minimization means giving the suspect a morally acceptable version of events, a face-saving exit, and watching what happens next. And what happened next was extraordinary. Watts exhaled. His shoulders dropped 2 full inches. The tension drained from his jaw. He nodded, not because he was innocent, but because he finally felt safe. For the first time in 2 days, someone wasn't accusing him. Someone was offering him a way out. He didn't know the cameras were still rolling. He didn't know that exhale would become evidence, but it did, and it changed everything. Here's where psychology meets machinery. After the initial interview, Watts agreed to take a polygraph examination. Think about that for a second. A man whose wife and children are missing, a man who claims to be desperate for their return, agrees to sit in a small room and let a machine measure his honesty. That alone should have been a red flag. Innocent people don't fear polygraphs. Guilty people do. An innocent man would say, test me right now. I'll do anything to find them. Watts said yes, but his body said no. But the real trap wasn't the machine, it was the chair. Watch his right leg under the table. It bounces at exactly 120 beats per minute. The same elevated heart rate the polygraph was detecting on paper. Fast, rhythmic, unconscious. A metronome of guilt. But when the examiner leaves the room to check the results, the bouncing stops instantly. This is called conscious suppression. He was deliberately controlling one visible symptom while the machine caught the invisible ones. The leg stopped because he thought no one was watching. But the machine never blinks, and the camera never forgets. The FBI didn't even need the polygraph results. They needed him to believe they had them. They needed him to think the machine had already told the truth. So when the examiner walked back in and said calmly, "You failed," Watts' world collapsed. You can see it if you watch the footage. Not in his face. He tries to hold that, tries to keep the mask in place. But in his hands, they grip the chair, his knuckles go white, and his body told the truth for the first time in 72 hours. When he finally confessed, and I use that word carefully, because what he gave wasn't a full confession at first, Watts didn't cry for his wife. He didn't cry for his daughters. He put his head in his hands, but his fingers were spread apart. In deception analysis, this is called peekaboo blocking. The suspect wants to appear devastated, appear broken, appear overcome with grief, but the fingers stay spread because the eyes stay open. He's not hiding from the pain. He's checking if the audience is buying the performance. Real grief closes the eyes. Real grief makes the body curl inward completely, like a fist, like a question mark. Real grief doesn't care who's watching. Watts cared very much who was watching. Every detective in that room knew the difference. And within hours, the truth came out. The affair, the oil site, the unthinkable details that we won't sensationalize here because the victims deserve better than to be a thumbnail. Christopher Watts is currently serving 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. He will die in prison. But the reason we study him isn't for the horror, it's for the pattern. Narcissistic killers follow a script. They use the same words, the same gestures, the same psychological blind spots. And once you see the script, you can't unsee it. You start noticing it in interviews, in body language, in the subtle ways the human face contradicts the human mouth. In our next video, we're breaking down the interrogation of Jodi Arias, another case where the suspect talked her way into a conviction, 1 sentence at a time. If you want to see how her body language compared to Watts, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The algorithm doesn't recommend videos, it recommends sessions. And if this session added value, let me know in the comments which case should we analyze next. Watts, Arias, Peterson, or someone else entirely. Your vote decides the next episode.